Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes. This is the Daily Brief. So 710 Russians off the battlefield, 20 tanks. I wouldn't say that this is slowed, but it's still working on the front lines. But there is not a lot of other activity. So, for example, air drones overnight. Ukraine says it down 2 of 3 Russian drones overnight. Well, that's not a lot comparatively. Monday night was relatively quiet for Ukraine following a series of attacks on the country's energy infrastructure that Russia stepped up more than a week ago. So that was 2 out of 3. But if you look at the big picture over the last month, air defense ground forces destroyed 326 air targets in March. That's just what they destroyed, not what actually came through. It's been a busy month in March. Okay, there's a fire in Yekaterinburg. I hope I pronounced that right, in Russia. Now, this is a machine building enterprise somehow related to the Russian defense industry. I'm not sure. I don't see any reports. This just came out a couple hours ago, and I don't see any reports about drones or anything like that. Fire could just be a fire, but it's a little suspicious when it's related to the Russian defense industry. Yekaterinburg is above Kazakhstan, so I mean, if Moscow seems like it's far away, Yekaterinburg is like 4 times the distance from Moscow. Okay, next story. Russia withdraws most valuable ships from occupied Crimea. I talked about that yesterday, and then I saw this, and I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. So here, Black Sea, to protected ships from Ukrainian drones in Novorossiysk, has positioned 4 barges at the port entrance, according to British intelligence. So that's pretty awesome. So this port is off on the Russian coast. I'll show you. It's right here. So it's a little ways from Crimea, but in Russia proper. And it's not the greatest port. That like Sevastopol is a far better port for them, but they're kind of hiding their ships, and they put barges in front of it. I'm no military expert, but I think sinking the barges in front of that port would be a great idea. I mean, if you could do it and block in those ships and keep them there until you could attack it some other way. Wow. I mean, anyway, that's just my thinking, and my thinking is not mature military thinking, so take that with a grain of salt. But I just thought that was pretty awesome that they had to withdraw to that degree. Okay, next story is Zelensky. Ukraine sends requests for provisions of air defense systems to each country that owns them. Imagine if you were Zelensky and you had to keep doing this and doing this and doing this. Like, I'm sure he doesn't feel like a used car salesman, because he believes fully in what he's doing. Like when I'm asking for you all to participate with me in the fundraiser with Greg Terry and that sort of thing, I have no problem doing that. But I would feel weird about asking for something for myself. I think he's probably in the same way, but having to keep doing this and doing this just has to be very taxing. On him personally. We have provided all the necessary signals to our partners, all specific requests to everyone who owns the necessary air defense systems, everyone who has the necessary missiles, America, Europe, other partners, everyone knows what we need. So that's his primary job, is to make sure that he's equipping his people for what they need. Okay, last couple things. Joe Blogs, as you know, was hacked, and I talked about this 3 days ago, and then I talked about his new account yesterday, or day before yesterday, and then I talked about the hack update and how you can help him. If you go to his website and you watch some hours, he can get himself remonetized fairly quickly, because this is what he does in life. He's now up to 17,000 subscribers, which sounds like it's lightning fast. I mean, to my mind, it's lightning fast, but he started with 360,000 and then went back to 0 and then is up to 17. So we'll see what happens, and I'll let you know if he gets his account restored. We're working on that through back channels. Okay, last little bit. Dimitri at War Translated said, "Don't think jokes about the war are good taste today unless they're made by Ukrainians." It is April 1st. I'm not going to make any war jokes, but I found this, I thought it was interesting, and I live in the American South. For those of you who don't know the difference between a crocodile and an alligator, the crocodile is the one next to the alligator. So there you are. Okay, have a good day today. Thank you for the time, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.